Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we are going to be specifically talking about the June 3rd Move On event with Kamala Harris as the guest. And in this event, it was pretty incredible. This man that was identified by multiple news sources as an animal rights protester, his name is Aiden Cook, comes onto stage where Kamala Harris is answering questions that have been posed to her by her host, by Move On. It's like a Move On. It was a Move On event, and so she is answering questions, specifically a gender pay gap question, and this man comes up on the stage, walks onto the stage, grabs her microphone, and begins to make his own political points, right? Now, there's two things that happen. So you have the man coming on stage and grabbing the microphone. The moment he is on stage, there's another occurrence in this event. And it's gotten some press. I don't think it can get enough press, but it is the actions of Karine Jean-Pierre. Karine Jean-Pierre is a political, she's a political commentator. I also think she's essentially like a political activist, and she's connected with Move On. She's also an author, right? But the moment this man comes on the stage, he's a tall man. He had a beard. He had a top knot, a little bit longer hair, right? He's tall and kind of imposing. The moment he comes on the stage, before Kamala Harris reacts, there was one other lady on the stage who really didn't react the way Karine Jean-Pierre did, but Karine Jean-Pierre immediately stands up. And I showed this event to my wife. We were watching the CNN coverage just on my phone in the morning together, and my wife, rewound it and was like, "Look at this," and she just put her hand on the screen and paused it, and you could see the man coming up, approaching Kamala Harris, and Karine Jean-Pierre. She is like, her knees are bent, and her entire body is aimed forward, right? Literally in like the first 3 seconds of what's happening, she looks like a linebacker. It was incredible. I was really amazed at how strong Karine Jean-Pierre, in hindsight, where we have the video, I really feel she's the real hero of the situation. Karine Jean-Pierre stands up and puts herself between the protester and Kamala Harris instantly, absolutely instantly, with 2 or 3 seconds of realizing what happens. Of seeing the events unfolding, she puts herself in front of Kamala Harris, and then literally, makes it so that the man has to essentially move around her, and then she stiff arms him and puts distance between the man and Kamala Harris. It is incredible, right? And so this person, Karine Jean-Pierre, who has nothing, to defend herself with. This guy coming up on the stage, he's wearing a hoodie. He could have had anything in the pouch of that hoodie, right? He could have had anything, right? He's this tall, imposing person. Karine Jean-Pierre has nothing and immediately intervenes, gets in front of the candidate, protects the candidate. Is incredible, right? Now, as soon as all Karine Jean-Pierre was able to do was to get the protester physically away from Kamala Harris. But I think it's so important that nobody forgets what Karine Jean-Pierre did. She acted first. I think she acted most heroically, and she did something courageous with virtually nothing to protect herself, right? And really had very little knowledge about what was happening, and still it's just pure courage being displayed by Karine Jean-Pierre. I think she's really the hero of the entire piece. Although everybody but that man who interrupted, that Aiden Cook guy, everybody else, responds really admirably, right? So as soon as Karine Jean-Pierre has physically put distance between the man and Kamala Harris. The man starts to make his point, starts to talk, to make a political point, right? And immediately 4 additional people come onto the stage and grab the mic away from him. One of those people was Kamala Harris's husband, Doug. And so he comes in. They physically remove him from the stage. They take the microphone out of their hand. Then what happens is another occurrence comes in, right? The moment this happens, Kamala Harris really, really gives herself points. I'm incredibly impressed with her response. She comes forward and immediately begins to reassure the crowd, saying, it's okay, everybody. No, I'm all good, right? Immediately giving information, immediately being vocal, immediately reassuring the crowd that she's okay, right? And the crowd recognizes this, and they literally begin to chant her name. It's incredible. This is a big moment. This is a point-in-time occurrence. This is a point-in-time event, right? It's a PTE, right? A point-in-time event. This is what I've been talking about from the beginning. That point-in-time maneuvers are absolutely critical. This is going to give Kamala Harris some leverage and some momentum, right? Now, here's the kicker, right? I just want to remind you for a moment. I'm a human being. Kamala Harris is a human being. Karine, Jean-Pierre, I understand that these are real human beings and there was real fear and real danger. I think there was real danger in this situation. What Aiden Cook did is outrageous and absolutely is a really, really, really bad trend, right? This has got to stop, because you can't make a situation where people are rushing the stage and are moving on the stages quickly with candidates or any celebrity there. This cannot become a habit, because this makes it incredibly difficult for security to do their job. We're going to talk about security in a minute. But this is an amazing event. And the other thing is, I'm saying is, the world does not stand still. Every candidate's got to be ready, right? And they have, and then when these things happen, they can't let these things go to waste. They have to use them. So I do understand that there's a real human cost to this event. But the reality is, I'm a political commentator, so I'm going to see this from a political perspective. And I just want you to remember, I do understand the political cost of this. I am going to talk about this from the perspective of tactics and strategies and points, right? Because that's what I do. I'm a political commentator. So I am also a human being. I'm not forgetting that part, but I just wanted to explain I'm moving forward. Okay. All right. So this is huge for Kamala Harris. It really, really helps her a lot. And I have to say, I don't want Kamala Harris to win the primary, right? I stand against her. I stand for Andrew Yang, right? And the reality is, I don't like seeing this, because this gives, one, Kamala Harris really represented herself extremely well, right? And the biggest thing is, this shows everybody, hey, if there's an emergency for the nation, I know how to reassure people. Boy, oh boy, and it really puts to shame President Trump, right? Because we had a situation where it looked like we were going to war with Iran, and a reporter said, hey, I think we're going to war with Iran. Are we going to war with Iran, President Trump? And he's like, he goes, I hope not. Like, what the heck, man? Like, you're supposed to be reassuring the people. You're supposed to say, oh, hey, there's a mounting situation, right? He could have said, there's a mounting situation, but we have a strong military, and we have a strong diplomacy, right? We are doing everything we can to manage this situation, right? But it was, what he was doing, he was just saying, oh, well, yeah, maybe all hell's going to break loose, right? Like, and that's not cool, man. You can't just say that. and that's what Kamala Harris was showing, she's showing, hey, I got what it takes to be president. And I don't like seeing this, right? And the reason why is I want, our candidate, Andrew Yang, to be putting himself forward and gaining these points and gaining these momentum. But I will admit right now, my respect for Kamala Harris has raised, because we now know when she is faced with an emergency, she is courageous, right? She is not frightened by shocking, sudden events, and you need that courage as president. And also, like, literally seconds after the event had happened, not even a full minute had happened, right? where she was already reassuring the crowd and saying, the people, and saying, hey, this is okay. Don't worry. I'm okay. You're okay. The situation's okay, right? And oh my gosh, being under a Trump presidency, just seeing that there are people out there who could be reassuring to the nation, could treat the nation with kindness, could treat that, not every single thing they did was a tactical maneuver, but there was just a desire from the president themselves to help the people to be calm and relaxed, rather than a person who, really understands and really savors the advantages of keeping a frightened populace. It is incredibly attractive, right? Like Kamala Harris has shown some incredibly attractive elements for a president. So Kamala Harris up, Aiden Cook down, right? Aiden Cook really shined a bad light on animal rights protesters, shined a bad light on people with top knots, right? It's bad, right? Bad situation. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what Aiden Cook did. So this person, this grabber, this microphone grabber, in our lives, we're always dealing with not always, but most of the time, right? We're dealing with politics, culture, and society, right? What this man did, in my opinion, politically is fully understandable. And politically, if you want to stand against any candidate, that's perfectly okay. I don't think he broke any norms as far as politics, right? But he broke culture and society, right? He broke the norms of culture and society. Our culture says when a leader is speaking, you shut your mouth and you listen, right? Our culture says when there is an event, right, there are chosen select people who are given the highlight for that event, and there is audience, and there is a structure for that. There is a Q&A, and if the Q&A doesn't occur, then the shine goes on the select highlighted people, and the people who showed up, they don't have a right to talk if it's not given to them, right? That is our culture, right? Those are values and behaviors that we as a culture accept. There is society. We are an independent group of people, right? Society is made up of people. And this person, Aiden Cook, is in society with Kamala Harris, right? He invaded her personal space, right? He took limelight that was given to her as a person, and he put his own physical body in her physical space, and it was incredibly wrong. He broke cultural and societal norms. I don't think he broke any laws. Because if he did break a law, we got a big, big problem. Because I can point to at least one other circumstance where a man ran up on stage and at an event, right, and interrupted another woman, right, and that did not end in jail time, right? I don't think there was a law broken here, and the reality is we got a very, very bad problem, right? I think he was fine on the political front. I fully understand his desire to point to his political stances rather than hers. I get that, but he should have waited for Q&A, and he should have tagged her with a stunning, devastating question, right? But he didn't do that, right? He broke cultural and societal norms, right? And we just have to remember as people in these interactions where we're interacting with these candidates, there's so much that comes out of this event. The other thing that comes out of this event is we as voters, and I'm trying to remind myself of this constantly, we owe these candidates a thank you. We owe them the thank you every day, right? This is not easy. When you are doing this, you can make accidents, you can make mistakes, you can make blunders, just like in chess, right? At every single moment. And in addition to that, they are exposing themselves to danger. That guy could have had anything in that hoodie pouch, right? He could have had a weapon in that hoodie pouch, right? Like, the reality is, it was dangerous for him to do what he did. It was dangerous to Kamala Harris. It was dangerous to Karine Jean-Pierre, right? It was incredibly dangerous what he did. And his actions echo out and cause danger for every single event going forward. Because going forward, security, or even people, ad hoc security, we're going to get to security in a minute. But even ad hoc or actual security is far more likely to do something rash now, right? Because this guy showed how easy it is to get these candidates. These candidates are out there. They're showing courage. they are really, really showing, they are sacrificing their own safety for us, right? To give us a better body politic, a better culture, and a better society. And I'm just going to say it. Thank you to Booker. Thank you to Castro. Thank you to Warren. Thank you to Biden. Thank you to Sanders. Thank you to Yang. Thank you to Gabbard. Thank you to every single one of these candidates who day in and day out are risking their safety for us, right? This democracy does not just form from a vapor. This is coming from blood, sweat, and tears. Real sacrifice, real work, right? Real risk. And thank you to Harris as well. Thank you to all these candidates who are doing this for us, the people, right? We are the people. They are the candidates. And what they are doing is incredibly bold and incredibly courageous. And it is so easy for us to forget this every single day. But I am incredibly thankful. I never forget for a moment that I am an American, and I'm so blessed to be here. And, we have 23 people on the Dem side who truly, 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 without, the Secret Service, right? Without, dedicated security teams are going out there and exposing themselves to the public every single day with exactly the type of risks that Aiden Cook has just proved absolutely exist, right? This is very, very alarming, right? So you have all of this going on, right? And I am really, really thankful. I did want to take a minute. Let's talk about security. This is a huge problem from a security perspective. I can't tell you how large this is, right? So here, Aiden Cook, this gentleman this man who was identified by multiple news sources as an animal rights activist, he's come forward and he's just shouted to the skies, all these candidates are not as safe as you think they are, right? This is all it takes. It takes a few strides and some boldness to literally be in their physical space and take physical things from them anytime we want. So now the entire nation, there's only really 3 outcomes of this, right? There is cost, there's hierarchy, and there is risk, right? So now we know that these candidates are in more danger than we expected, right? Because of the actions of this one man highlighting, saying these candidates are not as safe as you think, right? So the obvious response is we give every single one of these candidates a dedicated security team. That's a huge problem. There's 23 candidates, right? If you spent even $1 million each, and it would be a lot more than that most likely, to cover each one of them for the campaign, that is going to be $23 million. This could easily go to $25, $50, $75 million minimum. Maybe much, much higher before the campaign's done, right? And before the primary is done. This is just the primary, right? When we get to the general election, this is going to be a lot simpler, right? But with 23 candidates, it's too costly. In my opinion, that's too costly. You cannot give everybody a dedicated team because we've allowed too many people in. But it's good that we have all these candidates. We want candidates to be able to run. We want the people to have a broad choice, right? And I think that's good. I do not want to lower the number of candidates that are running for president. I do not want to, and I want them to be safe. But we can't, it's too unfeasible to give them, it's too unfeasible to give each one a dedicated team. It's just too costly, in my opinion, right? So what do you do then? You do hierarchy. You could go to a hierarchy. You could say top 6 candidates get security because that's where people are going to focus, right? That's a problem because hierarchy, I'm realizing this now. I think hierarchy is one of the biggest problems human beings have. It is a huge problem from certain perspectives. Is you have this situation where who wants hierarchy? Nobody wants to be on the bottom. Everybody wants to be on top. But hierarchy is a pyramid. You can't have everybody on top. You gotta, you set a hierarchy. Hierarchy has its own problems. And the last is we do nothing. We leave it right the way it is right now, and then we have risk. So we have cost, we have hierarchy, or we have risk, right? Now, of those, in my opinion, I think it should remain, I don't know. That's tough. I think I would go with hierarchy. I would protect the top 6. And, I think at the end of the day, I support hierarchy. What I want to see is I want to make sure that the mechanism we choose to set that hierarchy is as fair as possible, right? because it's just a fact. We don't have the resources to do for everyone. We can't. Not everybody gets the same things, right? The world isn't structured like that. There's finite resources, and we have to decide who gets what and who gets nothing, and I think that is literally the role of government, is this very harsh calculus and this decision of these people get, these people don't, right? It's just part of our society. It's part of our humanity. This is an incredible event. I'm going to just summarize my overall points. So my overall points is that Karine Jean-Pierre is an incredible hero. Her nature is to react quickly, and her nature was to protect Kamala Harris with virtually, there were others who came onto that stage and protected Kamala Harris when she needed it. But the reality is, Karine Jean-Pierre, her entire being reacted and was incredibly protective of Kamala Harris. It was selfless, it was courageous, it was bold, and I think Karine Jean-Pierre really, really stands out as a hero. Also, Kamala Harris has proven without a doubt, right? You could not have paid to prove a point better than Kamala Harris just proved, and that is that she is an incredibly savvy politician, in that when an event happens, she can keep her cool, she can keep thinking, she's not stunned by quick, frightening occurrences, and within seconds of a frightening occurrence, she has the ability to reassure the people. And oh my gosh, do I miss that? Do I miss having a leader who cares for the mental stability, who cares for the calmness, who cares for the solace of the American people? It is so, it's so clear that we're missing that now. And it's like this siren, calling from the rocks. Well, I guess, there's no rocks there, but it's beckoning and saying, what if we had a president who actually cared about us, not just keeping us physically strong with a strong military, but with keeping us calm and emotionally stable, right? As a nation, as a people, right? And Kamala Harris just proved that she can do that. That's huge for her. That is huge for her. Without a doubt, Kamala Harris comes out, smelling like roses on this. So that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing. And have a very wonderful millennium.